is Alexis McKean, and I'm here to talk about the amazing experience I had while in the Educational Technology program at Boise State University. As an educator, student, and coach, I am a true practitioner of lifelong learning, and I try to apply all new things I learned to both my personal and professional life. I can say that without a doubt, the experience I had in the Educational Technology program has been one of the most valuable educational opportunities I have ever partaken in. As a full-time teacher, I was worried that completing a master's degree would require me to compromise in one of those two areas. Either I had to give a little less to my teaching or expect a little less of myself in the program. It wasn't long into my first semester, however, that I found this to be completely untrue. Not only did my educational experience at Boise State inspire me to set and achieve high standards in my own education, but it also made me set and achieve these same standards in applying what I had learned to my classroom. It is this aspect of the program that I found the most valuable. Every course I took, project I did, and thing I learned in the EdTech program, I can honestly and without hesitation say that I have applied professionally. By building a strong theoretical foundation, I gained valuable skills that I could, and more importantly, have used in my teaching profession. The examples I'm going to discuss in the rest of this video provide the strongest evidence of this professional growth. I want to begin by discussing a course that had tremendous impact on me, not only because it was one of my first courses in the EdTech program, but also because it was the first course in which I truly realized the learning potential the program had. In EdTech 502, the Internet for Educators, I learned HTML skills, website building, and how to make and provide good lessons using the Internet. While I had always valued the Internet as a learning and teaching resource, this course showed me the most effective and efficient ways to use it. I was also able to apply the learning strategies that I had used in my classroom to the online environment. Some examples of this include the interactive concept map I created for the solar system and the unit of astronomy for Science 9, the effects of forest habitat destruction, a jigsaw activity I created for Biology 11, and my most comprehensive project, a virtual field trip that I created for Science 10. Since the beginning of my teaching career, I have always wanted to create and adapt media and images for learning. As a science teacher, I have often thought of ways upon which I could make diagrams and images better for students in order to assist their understanding of material. In EdTech 506, I was given the skills and opportunity to do this. For most of this class, I focused on creating dynamic images for my Science 9 curriculum and, where possible, added interactivity. The first image I want to share is an image of a typical animal cell. The objective of this image was to have students identify and learn the names of the cell's internal components, or organelles. To reduce cognitive overload, which I often see in images of this type, I made the visual interactive, displaying names individually as students explored the cell. Another key component of this image was the addition of pronunciation. Over the past few years, I have found that students have always struggled with the pronunciation and thus memory of these names. Upon using this image with my students, both in the classroom and as a review items, I have found that students' recall and pronunciation has improved dramatically. In building on the concepts of the cell, I next created an image to demonstrate the functions of the cell's organelles and their relationships. As you can see, I used the same image I had for my cell organelle structure visual, to once again give students a sense of familiarity. To show the relationships and assist students in learning the functions of the cell's organelles, I used an analogy of a factory. This analogy was presented in both visual and written forms. Again, I have used this image quite successfully in my classroom. Whenever I teach Science 9, I have always given my students an assignment that requires them to create their own analogies for cell organelle functions, and traditionally, it has had mixed success among my students. After developing this image, I have used it to present the idea of an analogy to students prior to giving them the assignment. I have found that in doing so, students have a better understanding of the functions and concepts behind the cell's organelles and the analogy assignment itself. This semester, I actually had some of the best student-produced analogies yet. The final example from EdTech 506 that I wanted to share was a website I designed using fireworks on ionic compounds. I wanted to highlight this artifact as it was one in which I was able to further work on in EdTech 511. When first designing this lesson, I had the idea that it would be used in tutorial-like format within my classroom. I also really wanted to be able to add animation to some of the visuals. When presented with the opportunity to create a tutorial with animation in EdTech 511, I knew immediately that I wanted to further develop my lesson on ionic compounds. Using the skills and visuals I had gained from EdTech 506 and applying my new knowledge of Flash from EdTech 511, I was able to produce a tutorial similar to that of my original vision. I am very pleased with how both the original image and subsequent tutorial have turned out, and I am looking forward to sharing it with my students in my upcoming chemistry unit next month. The last artifact I want to reflect on is the Science and Technology 11 online course I developed for EdTech 512. In addition to the knowledge and skills I had gained from this class, I also used many of the theories and ideas I had learned in EdTech 521 online teaching and EdTech 523 advanced online teaching. In fact, skills from almost every course I took in the EdTech program were used in this assignment. As such, I feel this course is a true summary and reflection of my growth in the EdTech program. Prior to beginning the educational technology program, I had always been interested in online teaching and had been working on bringing online courses to the school at which I teach. I taught one online math course on the LMS system Blackboard the semester prior to beginning my coursework at Boise State. During this experience, I found that although both my students and I enjoyed it, the course could be done in a much more effective and meaningful way. It wasn't until after completing much of my coursework at Boise State that I realized this course lacked the active, collaborative, and community-based learning environment online instruction requires. As I was already familiar with the Blackboard system, I chose to stick with its format for the development of my online class. In my past experiences teaching online, I was often frustrated with the unreliable and restricted text editor Blackboard provided. Using my knowledge of HTML gained from EdTech 502, I am now able to ensure my online lesson formats are exactly the way I want them, and can spend more time planning and creating meaningful lessons and less time dealing with formatting issues. The importance of creating a community among students and the instructor within an online learning environment was an idea from EdTech 521 and 523 that had a major impact on my course development. Ensuring that I created an environment where students work collaboratively to build this community was also key. To put this into practice, I created project-based assessments and used discussions on a weekly basis. When implementing the course, I also had students create blogs to reflect and monitor their own learning, a component to the course that both myself and the students found quite valuable. Anticipating that I would be able to develop an online course such as Science and Technology 11, I had the course approved for the 2010-2011 school year at my school. Student interest in the course was quite good, and as such, the school offered one class in the fall semester of 2010. Unfortunately, this was also the semester in which I was enrolled in EdTech 512. Because I was developing and implementing the course at the same time, I developed two versions of the class, one to teach that semester and one for EdTech 512. Although this process was not ideal and sometimes quite difficult, it did have some benefits. For example, I was able to use the skills I was learning in EdTech 512 to add to the version I was currently teaching, and I was also able to take assignments and experience I had gained from teaching the course and apply it to my developing class for EdTech 512. Although I felt the final version of the course I completed for EdTech 512 was much better than the one I presented in my classroom, student interest in online courses has definitely grown at my school. I'm looking forward to implementing this new course, as well as others online next year. In conclusion, I once again want to mention the impact all of my coursework at Boise State has had on my professional growth. Throughout the program, I have consistently shared my experience and knowledge with other educators in my school district, both casually and in the form of professional development workshops. I am looking forward to continuing to apply my knowledge and skills to various educational settings with the integrity and expertise I have gained through the educational technology program. Thanks to this amazing experience, I will proudly and professionally represent Boise State University in all my future career endeavors.